So I'm Annie and I work at Tumblr. I am an arts evangelist, which basically means I work with artists and galleries and arts organizations, museums, publications, all of the above, to help them leverage the platform effectively, develop partnerships, build community, and really the go-to girl for arts on Tumblr. And it's parts community management, parts development, parts messing around with engineers and figuring out what tools to build. So it's a really dynamic, fun job, and I feel really lucky to have it. Today I'm going to talk about how Tumblr works, how discovery is driven, and how you can leverage it, and sort of the top tips and tricks for getting your work out there as an artist and creator on Tumblr, as well as some of those stats and demos that everybody likes to hear about. So let's get started. How Tumblr works. It's really blurry. So I'm sure some of you use Tumblr. Raise your hand if you use Tumblr. Great. So I meet with a lot of people, and a lot of people are like, oh, I know Tumblr. It's, that picture site my 13-year-old uses, and it's like juvenile and memes. But it's part of my job to get people to understand Tumblr in a different way. That it's a creative community that has a ton of great, awesome, creative people, and the features that are built into Tumblr is what has kind of made Tumblr that kind of network. So it's important to me to get you to think about Tumblr in that sort of way. Essential to the Tumblr network is the Tumblr blog. It's the main type of account that everybody has on their Tumblr. It's an endless stream of images, movies, music, and text, anything, any sort of multimedia that you want. The blog shows up in the dashboard of people who follow you and also forms the base of your themed personal page. So on this side, the white side, is the web-facing portion of the blog. That's where all of your content lives and exists, and where you can point to show people where your work is. The dashboard is sort of like the interesting, weird, internet magical Play-Doh background of your Tumblr account. It's where you're managing your relationships and your community. It's where you are actually doing the publishing back-end sort of things, and it's where you can sort of have you can track your tags and you can do all the various different things that I'm going to talk much more about at a later date. So it's just good to think about Tumblr in two ways. Tumblr is, what makes it so special is having this sort of follow feature. So the way that your web-facing blog translates onto the dashboard is via this follow button. Makes every new post delivered it directly to your followers on the Tumblr dashboard. And we sort of like to, we think that this lends to a very social environment that increases your reach and increases positivity. We have built tools that make it possible for you to be self-affirmed and redistributed. So boost the signal, make it your own. And that works in this sort of way of this economy of likes and reblogs. That sort of looks like this, and I like to call it the reblog like tree. So you start with one single post, and it becomes much more than that on the Tumblr network. But on the web-facing side of things, it's fully customizable. You might have this sort of community within the dashboard that looks one certain way, but when you're pointing to things, and you're pointing to your Tumblr portfolio or your side project or whatever it is that you're doing, you can make it look however you want. Which is sort of unlike any other social network out there. On Facebook, you're in a thumbnail, you're in a box. On Twitter, you're limited to 140 characters. On Tumblr, you can really make it your space. You can post anything on Tumblr. We do things in post types: text, photo, quote, link, chat, audio, and video. And we think that this makes it easier for people to sort of streamline their content. All media displays elegantly and natively on Tumblr, and it just makes it super easy to do so. Our post maker is incredibly easy to use. We've worked really hard to build simple creation tools that encourage creativity, makes it much less daunting and difficult to create what you want to create or publish what you want to publish online. And we make it very, very easy for you to share with people on your other networks. So more about the dashboard. This is where the engagement really happens. Likes, reblogs, replies, all happen here, and it's where the community is formed. How do the animations work now? And then you can really drive that community offline as well. Tumblr has a huge meetups platform that we've created for users to help you organize events around your project or the people that you just like on your dashboard. We have about 500 a month, and we're sending out meetup kits daily, and people really like to expand their relationships from Tumblr offline. So discovery on Tumblr. And here I'm going to talk a little bit about where those tools are, where those discovery tools are, how to find things, and how to leverage them. The number one most paramount discovery portion of Tumblr is tag search. Is the tag search. Much like Flickr, it's very self-organized. You tag everything that's relevant about a post, ensure that people searching for that topic will see it. Tracking tags is a common practice on Tumblr. Users track the topics that they're interested in. That's what this is right over here on the white portion. I've tracked various tags such as art, artists on Tumblr, Bushwick, which is my neighborhood, Friend Lebowitz. I've tracked Kickstarter and nail art and net art. Anything that I'm interested in that goes beyond my dashboard. That's the most interesting thing I think about Tumblr is that people aren't just interested in what's on their personal dashboards, but they want to consume content voraciously. So they're looking beyond what they already know about. And we've taken it a step further to curate tag pages that are relevant topics to our community, such as art, illustration, design, LOL, tech, long reads, anything you can think of. We have elected members of the community to decide what to feature in those various topics. So I think what we're looking at right here is the design curated tag, and these are all right here are the editors of the design tag who promote post by post the best content in that topic. So you don't get spam, you get sort of a curated mix of what's the best out there.
And Annie said those are people from the community, not Tumblr staff?
Yeah, they're people from the community. Cool. Yeah, so I mean, I think David Karp is on there, but we also have, and our lead designer is on there, but it's various other people as well. So.
How are the curators curated?
That's part of the community management. So I actually help curate the design tag. We try to rotate them about every 6 months, just to keep it fresh. And we don't want to make it like a sour place to be. The people are really proud of their editorships. I've seen people put it on their resumes that they're like editors of film tags on Tumblr. So it's fun. But you can definitely go beyond what's on curated tags, absolutely. And so all of those curated tags are in the feature that we call Explore. It's a live feed of the curated tags, and you can see a list of all of those tags. You can see the top 5. In the top 5 is art, vintage is way up there, landscape is photography. So you can see all these various topics that are of interest to the Tumblr community. Oh, and I should mention that it's good to think about like your content. If you're really trying to reach a lot of people, it's really good to think about your content sort of in terms of these tags, and if you want to leverage these tags to make content that speaks to them. So the reblog tool, we talked about the reblog tool a lot, but it's a great tool that drives discovery. Most of the blogs that I follow came from my friends reblogging other blogs that I wasn't following. So there's that sort of system of finding things by people that you already know and like. So that's another way to find great stuff and to think about your content in a way like, okay, is this going to be very rebloggable? Are people going to like this and share it with their friends? It's something to think about. The radar is another discovery tool, but it's sort of a big beast. Every user who's signed into Tumblr sees the radar. It's entirely editorial, except now it was entirely editorial, except now we started to sell ad space in the radar. But it gets about 120 million impressions a day, and people who get magically placed into radar get tons of new followers and likes and tons of new interaction that they would have never gotten before. I like to say that it's like being on a billboard in the most highly trafficked highway in the world. Spotlight is sort of like our staff pick directory. It's again curated by our community managers who just as a place to go to when you're first starting out on Tumblr and you want to find new stuff to follow. We think these are great starting point blogs to go to. Storyboard is our editorial arm. We have in-house journalists who are covering the amazing, cool stories that go beyond the dashboard. So who is making this weird meme blog? What's the deal with this photographer? Where does he work? Where does he go? What's pictured here is a video that we did with Moby about his weird LA architecture blog. So we're doing the high-low. It's fun. I do an artist discovery every Fridays, so it's fun. Interviews with artists, essentially. But it's a good place to, one, tell the story of Tumblr for people who aren't on Tumblr and drive more community within our network. All of the features. I'm just going to run down all the features that are creative tools and could be useful to you in some way or another. One being secondary group blogs. So on Tumblr, you can have as many blogs under one account as you want. Right here are all of mine. I think I have about 25. And they range from side projects to like my dad's 60th birthday blog to private secret things I don't want anyone to know about. And some of them have lived on, some of them have died, but Tumblr's made it really easy for me to create brand new projects on the fly. And the special thing about them is that, one, you can make them private, and you can also make them collaborative. So if you have a secondary blog on Tumblr, you can invite other Tumblr users to collaborate with you on that blog. I've seen some really cool examples of this, one being Phone Arts, which is a collective of artists who create art exclusively on mobile phones and then just upload it to the Tumblr. And there's about 5 of them, and they all contribute daily. So it's pretty fun. It makes it pretty easy to do that kind of collaborative blog. Submissions is another great tool. People use submissions to make zines, to accept entries for a contest. What we're looking at right now is Eat, Sleep, Draw, which is one of the first submission-based Tumblrs. They get about 1,000 submissions a week. Illustrators submit to Eat, Sleep, Draw to get discovered. I run my own submission blog to let artists submit themselves to get known within the Tumblr artist community. It's just a way to get users to participate with you, or for you to get seen by these powerhouse submission blogs that really drive a lot of community and coverage. The Ask feature allows any user to submit a question to you. We also have blogs that are based entirely on this feature. We have entire advice blogs that are run off the Ask feature. Anybody can ask you a question if you open this up, and it displays it really beautifully. What I like about this, as opposed to using like Twitter, is that it filters everything. Everything that comes into either your submit or ask box goes into your unified inbox, and you can moderate it, edit it, delete it, post it, and it's yours. You have editorial control over that. On Twitter, it's sort of like noisy, crazy. You can't anybody can ask anything. On Facebook, you have no control over the comments. But this, you have complete control over what people see on your blog. Pin post is a great feature, especially once after you've sort of gained a following. It pins the post to the top of your dashboard so that anybody who's following you will be sure to see it within 24 hours. If you have something you want to announce, if you have some sort of special kind of post that you want to promote, it's a great tool. I've seen it be really effective for me in that I put one post up, sometime it kind of died after 60 notes, and then I pinned it to the top and I got 800 notes overnight. And so it can be really effective when you have the audience. It costs $5. Highlighted posts are another way to just make your post stand out. Again, really only useful if you've already built up the following, but if you have something that you want to promote, $2, and it just kind of makes it pop out from the dashboard with this little flag. It kind of glows around it, and it makes the text bigger. And that's kind of how it looks. You just do it right there in the post maker. So we have some tools that make it easy for you to create things on the fly. One being our mobile apps, which are pretty obvious. You're out and about doing whatever it is that you do that's cool. It makes it easy for you to, and it also makes it easy for you to consume the content from wherever you are. But what I love is the bookmarklet. So anytime you're anywhere around the web, you're at the New York Times, on Art Info, looking at articles, looking at cool art, you can just put this in your toolbar, and anytime you want to share something, click Share on Tumblr. It pops out a postmaker with all the assets right in there for you to publish. And have total control. You can even save it just to drafts, but no more copy and pasting. It just makes it really easy for people to create new stuff when they're super busy and have nothing, and don't really have any other easy way to publish. There are a number of other apps that are great for creation on Tumblr, Instagram being one of the most popular. They have an integration that posts directly to Tumblr, as well as a lot of GIF making apps, which are incredibly popular. You also have the ability to schedule posts. I know one thing about being an artist is that you don't want to spend too much time publishing. You don't want to spend too much time like thinking about, okay, am I publishing too much at once? Like, should I do it staggered? With scheduling posts, you can set it so that you can get all of your blogging done in 10 minutes and have the effects go throughout the day. So basically, you can set it so that you want 10 posts to publish once a day for a week, and that's just an easy way. You never have to touch it again. So it just makes it super seamless for you to do that. We also have great integrations with Facebook and Twitter. The post format on other platforms, you can just set it up so that you just blast right on out to Twitter and Facebook. Share and be shared. If you have a website, if you are already operating on a Carbon or something, or another WordPress or something, put share buttons on your website so people can share things onto Tumblr. And if you are using Tumblr and on other places, let people know that you have a Tumblr and that they should follow you. Check out our API. We have documentation that's fantastic and open for you to design your own Tumblr, as well as build your own integrations, themes, and tools. If you have the chops, you should definitely check it out. We've seen some cool stuff done with our API. So then stats are pretty cool. We have 74 million blogs as of like 2 weeks ago. So it's pretty insane. We get 18 billion monthly page views. Which is, I just don't even know how that works. Like, there aren't that many people in the world. Like, what's going on? And 147 million monthly uniques in the U.S. alone. So these are really insane numbers. We have a huge, vast community. We're constantly growing. It's not plateauing whatsoever. 120,000 new users every day. We're number 20 U.S. network according to Quantcast. That just compares us to other places. We fluctuate between about 14 and 22, so we picked a conservative 20 to stick with. Demographics are actually pretty special. We're split pretty evenly between male and female, which is really rare in social media. Usually it skews incredibly female. And we're very young. We have kind of that sweet spot of the 18 to 34. Our 13 to 17-year-olds are also incredibly active. Most of our content creation comes from these kids. But we have a pretty diverse group, but pretty young. Very international. We're about 60-40 international to US, with huge markets in Canada, Brazil, the UK, and Australia. So huge community with global reach. And the engagement, which I think is the most important thing. The average user spends an hour and 38 minutes on the site per month, second only to Facebook. And like I was talking about, and unlike Facebook, the only thing to do on Tumblr is consume content. There are no games, no chat, you're not stalking your ex-boyfriend. You are there literally consuming what's on your dashboard. And that's really important because it's time spent consuming your content. 14.5 minutes per visitor online, 16.4 page views per visit. That means people are going through their whole dashboards. They're going to see everything they've missed. It's not passive like Twitter, where you're like, oh, I don't even care if like I missed like 100 tweets.
Well, that takes me 2 hours every day.
Right. So yeah, people are going through their entire dashboards, and it's insane. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the basic overview. I know I don't have very much time since I have about 6 more minutes on here, but I've 5:54, I don't know, but whatever.
We started a little early, so we can take some questions for you, and if I robbed some time from her guys.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, go for it.
What is the status on Hootsuite integration?
What is the status of Hootsuite integration?
Yeah.
Like, are we going to do it, or actually, I can't speak to that. I don't actually know. We are totally open to working with third-party developers, but I don't think that we're quite there yet.
What's the name of your blog where you accept art submissions?
TumblrOpenArts.tumblr.com. Yeah, I get a lot of submissions. It's really grown quite a bit.
Do you have suggestions, Annie? We actually see Tumblr as a referral, obviously, to NYC programming spaces in all of our cities,
Oh, yeah.
of ways that I can sort of engage with those people who are obviously sharing something from our site. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
any photos or a venue that they liked, or it's just, hey, this is a free resource.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be great for you to harness all of that content and be like, we provide this platform for all these various spaces that you're talking about and sharing about. This is an event space. This is an event that took place that somebody organized via our platform. Sharing that story, I think, and documenting that story is incredible to your brand. So I mean, I would say track the venues that you represent, track your own name, track the NYC spaces on Tumblr, and reblog that stuff and be like, hey, cool, thanks for doing this. And that would definitely drive a community that's based around your product. Yeah.
So my question is a little bit larger, but just in general, as someone who is consuming a lot of content daily, do you have any suggestions in terms of like managing? I don't know, like I just go on Tumblr and I love it, but I get so overwhelmed and I just love when people really know what they're doing.
Yeah, so I follow over 1,300 blogs. And actually it's more than that because I run 2 accounts. So I have 1,300 on my personal account and about 1,200 on my arts account, on my professional arts account. And that's insane, and also my job is Tumblr, so I can do that. But I mean, I think that people get sort of this anxiety, I feel like you get this way living in New York too, is that you start to feel like you're going to miss out on something if you're not following everything.
Yeah.
So, as cheesy as it sounds, I would say be true to yourself and follow things you actually care about. I mean, people get emotional about their dashboards. They feel like we get teenagers who are like, it's the only place where I feel like I can connect with people that know me or know what my life is like. And they cultivate this emotional space for themselves.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to curate your own dashboard so that it's important to you. And that said, we don't advertise follower counts or how many people that you're following. So there's no awkwardness in like, I'm over following compared to how many people follow me, or I don't want to follow too many people because it looks like lame or something.
Well, a friend of mine called it Live Journals Inheritor, and I think that it really is sort of...
Inheritor?
Yeah, there really are like communities that where it's just a platform. Like, it's really weird actually to hear this sort of like corporate pitch, but I've gotten used to it just being this place where I
Very
hang out
emotional
with my
space.
friends.
Yeah. No, yeah, it is. Yeah, and I can speak to that having been a live journal user myself. I definitely feel that same sense of community on Tumblr as I did on LiveJournal when I was a teenager. So yeah, so I mean, like authentic relationships online. I mean, LOL, but it really is something that people feel. So
Cool. Yeah. Well, that's actually really good advice. So thank you.
yeah, no.
It's just overwhelming.
Yeah, no, I know. There's so much good stuff out there.
Yeah.
So
You don't look crazy.
Out of all the features you were saying earlier on the panel about artists who are really wanting to think strategically about leveraging and thinking about visibility, can you speak to that?
Yeah, so for visibility, I mean, being self-organized and tagging everything relevant about what you're doing is definitely the number one thing to go for. And then, I mean, what you get out of Tumblr what you put into it. So I think like if you are getting out there and liking posts and asking people questions and interacting with the community, you're going to get that back. People are going to start interacting back with you. It's not one way. It's very much a level playing field. And that's one thing I love about Tumblr is that you can have the New York Times and the New Yorker, random art enthusiasts from Bulgaria, as well as like established artists with gallery representation, like all operating on the same level. And they're all, like, the New Yorker has reblogged people, like my friends who are nobodies, like it makes it, more fun that way. So, yeah.
Statistically, what are the kind of items that you think those that are the most popular? Like, are photos more popular than audio, or quotes more popular than videos?
Sure, yeah. So I mean, definitely it's a visually driven platform, and any way that you can attach an image to your content, I think is helpful, which is why our Spotify integration has been so successful, because it's actually like attached to the album art in a really beautifully displayed way. But yeah, 50% of our content is photos. And it's what is easiest to grab people with. So that said, we have long-form communities. We also have a ton of musicians. But it's visually driven. You should always think about how it's going to look in the dashboard and how it will disseminate within the dashboard.
There was just a post, I forgot where, but it had a breakdown of all those stats in the lifetime of each of those types of posts.
For the longest time, I was posting articles on Tumblr, and I realized that just posting text or a link just doesn't work that much. So I now just take an image from the article and I create a click-through so people can get to the article but through an image, and that's much more engaging.
And that's very, very standard practice. Yeah, absolutely. So cool. I hope I answered all your questions. I think it's time, but I mean, this is my email. I don't know if you can see it, but it's
oh wow!
I don't know what just happened. It's Annie@tumblr.com. You can email me with more questions. I can't see it. What?
It's IEAN.
A-N-I-E, like the orphan. Got
Like
it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks so much, guys.
Thank